Yo, I'm Bob. Totally blind since birth into Star Wars, talking about Season 2, Episode 4 of The Bad Batch on Disneyplus. This one's called Faster. It is Episode 20 of the show overall. Spoilers ahead, so watch that before listening to my thoughts, unless you want to get spoiled. Jumping right in, and you were warned. Now, I got a lot of Star Wars Demolition vibes as I was watching this episode. For those of you unfamiliar, Demolition, it's an old Star Wars game from way back in the old PS1 days, and it's kind of like Star Wars meets Twisted Metal. You pick your vehicle, you pick your arena of choice, you blast the heck out of your opponents before they can blast the heck out of you. I had a lot of fun with that game, and I had a lot of fun with this episode too via the audio description track from Disneyplus. Would not have known some of the cool gadgets that the speeders were tripped out with if that hadn't been the case here in this episode. I also got some episode 1 vibes from this episode of The Bad Batch, of course, because, well, pod racing played an integral role in episode 1, The Phantom Menace. But this racing seems just a smidge more dangerous than pod racing. So Sid, she's entered a droid in a race on a new world. I don't think we've seen it in Star Wars yet anyway. It's called Zafa Atoma, so she takes Wrecker, Omega, and Tech with her as added muscle. She has had dealings with this male Dawotan that we meet in this episode before. His name is Malegi, and he's voiced by the amazing Ernie Hudson. And as I've said before in previous Star Wars videos, I love it when my fandoms kind of vocally cross over. So it was really cool to find out that this veteran Ghostbuster, he's been in so many things aside from Ghostbusters, though, like Transformers Prime, etc., that he has lent his voice to Star Wars. I love that pertaining to this episode. And then you've got Ben Schwartz from Sonic the Hedgehog movies 1 and 2, voicing Teo the droid. I love the race, the first race of the episode. We get to see just how brutal riot racing is, because not even the audience is immune to riot racing. There's this one alien who gets caught by a stray blaster cannon bolt, and, well, he's dead. And I like how the announcer, I think that's Jonathan Lipow voicing him. The announcer says something like, "We're not liable for any injury, death, or disintegration." So this is a very nutson, as Jar Jar would say, a very dangerous kind of racing. And of course the droid loses. Sid owes Malegi money she cannot pay, so she is taken as collateral. The clones decide to do something about it. They're going to free her from his clutches. I love the little bit of downtime we get between the two races. We get to learn a little bit more about Sid's past in this episode. We find out that she was involved in some questionable things. Malegi calls her, along with himself, hustlers. And Sid keeps telling him she's changed. She's going to surprise him. But Malegi's like, nah, I doubt that very much. Very skeptical about that. I think she has, but we'll just have to see future episodes. I'm sure she'll be tempted to do some things that'll be untoward. I don't know, though. So the second race is pretty exciting. The action starts even before the race does. There's this one scene, I think, where Teo, he's in the pit lane, according to the audio description track. And, well, he just gets flattened by a speeder. So this is the second time in the episode that he's dismantled. Tech has to enter the race last minute. And he uses his shields, his ingenuity. He relies more on speed to win the day. But I love all of the interesting devices these speeders are tripped out with. You've got, of course, blaster cannons, which made me think of Star Wars Demolition. You've got one alien who goes by Mad Bomber. He drops these explosive canisters. These are just begging for Star Wars Vintage Collection vehicle releases. We're probably not going to get them, but, describe vehicles like this to me, and I'm thinking toy. So yeah, Tech does win the race, and I don't think this is going to bode very well for Clone Force 99, because you got to think that this has been filmed. Some Imperial might get wind of this film and show the footage to higher ups like Tarkin. This might not go too well for Rampart if Tarkin sees the footage before Rami does, because well, he's already falsified report. He's killed a clone captain, so this might come back to bite Rami in the butt. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, I mean, Sid, expertly voiced by Rhea Perlman, she is allowed to go home. I like that Malegi says he admires the loyalty of the Bad Batch, because he does let them know that before everyone gets to go home. He also warns them about Sid, though. He's like, you guys might want to watch your backs, because it doesn't go both ways when it comes to Sid's loyalty. And it's a very ominous way to end the episode. I hope we're not done with Malegi as a character. He's a really interesting Daotan male. Hopefully we'll see him again. I don't think we're done with him. Hopefully we're not. Maybe we are, though. The Daotans are really intriguing species. I couldn't help but think of the female Inquisitor from Jedi Fallen Order, the Ninth Sister, while watching this episode, because we've seen this species in that. I think they show up in the High Republic too. They make really awesome action figures, and I want at least one in the vintage collection at some point. Anywho, slight action figure wish list rant aside, next time we're going to be talking about Entombed. That sounds like a very ominous episode. Cannot wait to watch that one. I like this episode a lot more than I originally thought I would. I read the little summary on Disneyplus about how they're going to have to do some racing, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll give it a go. Yeah, it was actually pretty good. Expert voice work, of course, as always, from Dee Baker and Michelle Ang. I think it's just a really fun episode, and can't wait for the next one. I do want to see more stuff with the clones going AWOL. I want to catch up with Cody and all that stuff, but I'm wondering if this is going to tie into that. I really don't think this is a one-off episode. This is going to have consequences for everybody, I think, especially if there is footage of this going around the HoloNet, if Imperials get wind of it. So anywho, till next time, guys, may the Force be with you.